Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Melanie from Yoga Within. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me for Beginner Ashtanga. Before we begin, I should let you know that I myself have a bit of an injury today, so I'll be showing you a lot of modifications. But just so you know that when we are injured, we just have to practice a little bit more mindfully. It would help if you had some props handy, a strap, a block, and if not, modify it how you need to. You can use books, you can use towels, you can use scarves for the straps. So, to start with, just make yourself comfortable. Sit up nice and tall and just rest your hands in your laps or on your knees. Visualize a nice straight spine from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. Take a long, deep breath in and a long, loud letting go exhalation. Just now let the lips close lightly and begin to find the Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi meaning victorious, breathing in and out through the nose with the mouth lightly closed. There is a tendency when the mouth is closed to grit or grind your teeth, so try to keep the jaw relaxed. Just take a moment to connect with the breath. The breath is really the most important part of the practice. It gives the mind a place of focus. It allows the body to warm safely from the inside out. And you really are in control of the heat you build. Visualize Mula Bandha, that gentle lift, so subtle at the base of the spine. Uddiyana Bandha, really the core of the body, the heart, the center. A couple of fingers below the navel, just lightly engaging into the core of the body. And then Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, as you drop the chin down towards the hollow of the throat, but at the same time lift the sternum up to the chin so you maintain that length in the spine. Mind follows the wave of the breath, just hopefully letting the thoughts drift by one. Taking this moment just to connect with who you are right now. Now let the eyes open if they're closed. Lift the head up, stretch the legs out, and bounce into the knees. Let it rock out a bit. Now bring yourself, and try to stand without using your hands if you can, up to the front of the mat into Samasthiti or attention pose. All the standing postures, the foundation is the feet. So set your feet in a way that the foundation, your body, is strong and supported. Your drishti is your point of gaze, straight ahead down the tip of the nose. Take a moment, find this tall, strong mountain pose. Start to engage the Ujjayi breath. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. If you can't go all the way forward, hands to thighs or shins is perfect. Then inhale, come part way up. As you exhale, bend the knees enough to place the hands on the floor beside the feet. Step back to plank, but if you find plank is too strenuous anywhere in the body, place the knees down. Bend the elbows into the side body, lower through Chaturanga. Place the tops of the feet on the floor and lift to either this baby cobra position or moving the torso through the hands a bit more, lifting to upward dog. Tops, thighs on the floor or thighs off the floor. Tuck the toes, send the hips back, option being child's pose or downward dog. And you can move into full child's pose if you prefer. In downward dog, you can play with the foundation, which would be your feet and your hands. If your back hurts, move the feet farther apart and then the knees so you can get that action of sending the hips up to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Don't be afraid to let that downward dog walk out. On your next inhalation, bring the feet towards the hands, and you can take as many steps as you need. You end up in this partial fold. Exhale, fully fold. Inhale, come up, and if your back hurts, walk your hands up the legs. If the shoulders hurt, don't lift the arms as high. And if the neck hurts, don't look all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, lift the arms and the gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, hips high, gaze forward, neck long. Exhale, hands down, step back, don't let those heads hang. Lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, lift to upward dog or that baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog, or remember the option of full child's pose. If you do feel dizzy in child's pose, don't drop the head down below the shoulders of the heart. Keep your breathing. The practice becomes like a meditation when you allow the mind to ride the sound of the breath. And we try to let go of all those thoughts that fill our head. Breath by breath, we begin to let go. Don't be afraid of a bit of movement. It is in exploring that we begin to create change. Inhale, bring the gaze and the feet back to the hands in that partial fold. Exhale, fully fold. Inhale, come all the way up, softening the shoulders. Exhale, Samastiti. One more time. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold the body forward. Inhale, lift the hips, come to that long spine. Exhale, step back. You decide, knees up or knees down. Lower through Chaturanga. Chaturanga is meant to benefit the body, not harm the body. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Long, full, deep breaths. Remember, the idea of an Ashtanga practice is to heal yourself. So if you find yourself moving into greater and greater pain, perhaps you need to practice a little bit more non-harming. Sometimes the hardest part of this practice is learning to back off. And that's where our body finds its greatest ease and its greatest strength. Inhale, bring your gaze and your feet to your hands. Exhale, fully fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Samastiti. Surya Namaskar, be the knees bend. So you may need to move your knees and feet farther apart. Try to keep them parallel. The arms come up, the shoulders come down. Exhale, fold forward. Again, if you can't go all the way, hands to shins or thighs is perfect. Inhale, part way up. Exhale, hands down, step back. Lower through Chaturanga. Shoulders move apart. As you come to upward dog, the back bend, the shoulder blades squeeze lightly, the sternum lifts. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot pivots, right foot comes forward. And if you need to stand yourself up and move into warrior, that's more than fine. The hips point straight ahead, the right knee is above the right heel. The arms go up if it doesn't hurt the shoulders. As you come down, you can always put the left knee down, put the right knee down, and then lower through Chaturanga. Lift to upward dog. Move the torso through. It's meant to strengthen the spine. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot pivots. Left foot comes forward. Left hip back. Right thigh forward. Weight is even on the feet, and the tendency is to roll to the big toe side of the back foot. Exhale as you come down. Don't hang those heads. Knee down, other knee down, lower through. Inhale, coming up, not a push-up, a back bend. Exhale, downward dog. You're given the gift of 5 or more breaths just to connect with who you are today on your mat, because we know that each time we come to our mat, it's a new experience. Our bodies aren't the same from day to day, even minute to minute. The mind rides the rhythm of the breath, and we try to let go to the attachments of what we think it should look like, and instead realize the importance of what it feels like. Inhale, bring your gaze and your feet to your hands. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. You can come up putting palms on thighs if that's better. Exhale, Samastiti. Again, knees bend, arms and gaze up. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the hips, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back through plank, lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, lift upward dog. Make sure the legs are active, the glutes are active, just not overactive. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot pivots, right foot comes forward. Right hip back, left thigh forward, weights even on the feet, gaze up if it doesn't hurt the neck. Exhale, come all the way back down through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot pivots, left foot comes forward. Left hip back, right thigh forward, breathing in, breathing out, all the way down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll back. Long, full breaths. Remember, at any point you need to pause, go to child's pose, take your breaths. Try not to do downward dog the same way you do it every time. Really explore. We create memories in our mind and in our bodies. And when we don't try different things, we get the same results. Inhale, gaze and feet to hands. Exhale, fold, knees bend. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, Samastiti. One last time. Knees bend, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hips lift. Exhale, step back. Lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Left foot pivots. Right foot comes forward. Weights even on both feet. Front hip back, back thigh forward. Exhale, coming back down. Watch those heads hanging. I'm watching you. Lower through. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll back. Right pivots. Left comes forward. Breathing in. Square up those hips. Soften the shoulders. Exhale, come back down. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Hopefully by now you have that sense of how you're feeling, and you can carry that with you through the rest of the practice, really remembering to practice the art of not harming yourself. Inhale, gaze and feet to hands. Exhale, fully fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, Samastiti. Padangusthasana, step the feet apart, about hip width, but wider if the back or hamstrings bother you. Bend the knees. If this is enough, you can stay right here, elbows on thighs. Otherwise, pointer finger and middle finger under the big toes. Again, bend the elbows so the knees go towards the armpits. And again, if this is enough, don't go any farther. If you are able to drop your head, drop the head. If you can begin to straighten the legs a little or a lot, start to do that. And as you do that, you may find you need to reset the foundation, which is your feet. The neck is free. The elbows are bending to open the upper back. And the breath is ever present. Now inhale, bend the knees, straighten the arms, and take the torso and face parallel to the floor. If you can't do the next one, repeat what you just did. Otherwise, Padahastasana is to lift the feet, slide the palms under the feet, bend the knees, bend the elbows, and stay here. Otherwise, you drop the head, keep the elbows bent, and begin to straighten the legs, keeping that rib-thigh connection as much as you can because it is a forward fold. A retraction, a bending of the knees, and then a slight straightening will show you where your foundation needs to be. So reset your feet if necessary. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your neck long. Now bend the knees, lift the torso parallel to the floor, place your hands on your hips, and inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale, reset in Samastiti. Utthita Trikonasana, step out wide on your mat. Turn your right foot out. Left foot can be at 90 or turn slightly in and extend the arms. Extend over that right leg. Right arm goes down. If there's shoulder problems, left hand stays on the hip. If you have a block or a book, you can place that right hand on the block or book. If you do not have a shoulder problem, straighten the left arm. Unlock your right knee, open your shoulders, keep your breathing. Smile, don't let that head hang. Keep the neck strong by keeping the neck in line with the spine. If you are using a prop, hold on to it, pick it up, put it in the other hand and change your feet. Right in, left out, arms parallel to the floor, extend left. Prop comes down, hand comes on it. The beauty is you can change it or not use it. Right arm up. Now your drishti can go up to the right thumb, to the center, or down to the left toe. Keep your breathing. Try not to put all the weight on the prop. We're lengthening top and bottom half of the body and connecting right here at the core. So if you feel your back, you probably have not got the core working. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back up. Pick up your prop if you're using it. Parivrtta is the rotation. So the right foot goes out, the left foot comes in. The prop can go in the left hand. Right hand can go on the sacrum at the base of the spine. You can come down keeping the block on the inside of the right foot, or take it to the outside of the right foot. Draw the right hip back, draw the shoulders out of the ears, and rotate the torso around the spine. So keep in mind, this is a twist. Breathing, squeezing the inner upper thighs as though you had a block between the legs. Inhale, come up. Exhale, turn your feet. So the beauty of Ashtanga is we do one side, then we do the other. You set the foundation of the feet. You travel up the structure to the hips. In order to adjust the hips, reset the foundation, the feet. You come down with the hand on the block at the inside of the left foot, or if you're ready to move deeper into the twist, the block moves to the outside of the foot. The left hip draws back, so the hips are in line. The shoulders draw out of the ears, and you begin to twist to the left. You can stay there. Some of you may extend the arm up. Some of you may keep the arm out to the side, parallel to the floor. One more breath in, that left hip draws back. One more breath out, and you inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, reset to Samasthiti. This is your pause to check in. Uttita Parasvastikhanasana, step out wide to the right. Right foot out, left foot 90 or in, bend the right knee. My hips are relatively square. You might need the prop by the right foot, knee and heel in line on the right leg. Elbow down, the hips stay even, that left hip's not swinging up. You can keep the hand on the hip or bring that left arm by the ear. Keep the neck strong, don't let the head hang. Keep breathing. So you can put the right hand on the block. You can extend the right arm out from the shoulder. The hand can go to the outside of the knee as well, depending where you get the most rotation of torso around spine. Make sure you're using that back foot with the arch. Inhale, bring yourself all the way up, put the hand on the hip, and change the feet. So right foot is at 90 or in slightly, left foot turns out, groin drops, pelvic floor lifts. You may have to widen your stance. Try not to swing the hip up as you go down. Think down, 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 and then a straight line of energy from the back heel all the way up through the crown of the head. If the arm is at the inside of the knee, the arm presses into the knee and the torso rotates up and around. If the arm is at the outside of the leg, the knee presses into the arm presses back, and torso rotates around spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Every action has an equal and opposite action. Put the hand on the hip, bring yourself all the way up. Now Parivrtta is the rotation. So right foot out, left foot in, right knee bends. This is really challenging for most people to draw the right hip back and bring the lower left abdominals across the right thigh. So you may roll to the balls of the left foot, put the knee down, and then bring the left hand to the outside of the right leg. Some of you may have your hands together, palm to palm, breathing. Some of you may choose to lift the knee off the floor, and some of you may be able to keep that left foot flat. One more breath in, one more breath out, and then bring yourself all the way up, however you can get up, and switch sides. So left foot's pointing straight ahead. This is a very wide stance from the right heel to the left big toe. Left hip draws back, right thigh draws forward. Then you start going not over with bottom up, but down. Again, you can have the knee on the floor, right elbow to the outside of the left knee, hands meet in prayer. Shoulders draw out of the ears. Again, you can lift the knee up if that's better for you. Head can turn to the side, down to the left big toe, or up to the left elbow. Keep your breathing. One more breath in. One more breath out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, back to Samasthiti. Prasarita Padottanasana A. Step out wide to the right. Outside edges of your feet, parallel, hands to the hips. This is a forward fold, so bend the knees and bend forward from the hip creases. Place the elbows on the thighs, and if this is enough, stay here. You can use the blocks or the books to rest your hands on. Keep your breathing. If you can go farther, you place your hands on the floor, and you begin to walk the hands back as far as you can. Elbows bend to right angles, faces parallel to the floor, or drop the head and begin to lift the hips. Now, as I began to straighten my legs, my feet needed to adjust a bit. So move them if you need to. Squeeze your elbows as though you have the block between your elbows. Lift your 10 toes, but root big toe mound, little toe mound in the center of the heel. Don't let those elbows flare apart and let your head go. You can always rest your head on the blocks if that's better for you. Now inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, place the elbows on the thighs. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, look up. Forward fold, keep the hands on the hips. Bend the knees. Stay here. Or you drop the head and lift the bottom. Now again, my feet moved a little farther apart. If your head is all the way on the floor, you need to move your legs closer together to make it more challenging. The arches of the feet lift. The toes rest lightly on the floor, but they're not clenching or gripping the floor. The breath is present. To come up, you either come straight up or you bend the knees, place the palms on the thighs, and bring yourself up. Exhale, hands to hips. Now, this is where you may find that you need to use a strap for chest expander. You bring the arms up, you interlace the hands behind your back and hold your strap. You lift the arms up, squeezing the shoulder blades. Don't stick the bottom up. Keep that core engaged. You squeeze the shoulder blades lightly because it is called chest expander. You bend the knees, send the hips back, and you can stay right here, or you can drop the head and lift the bottom. Now, in a perfect world, the head is on the floor and the arms rest on the floor and the hands are in chest expander. But whatever world you're living today is your perfect world. And this is where you practice truthfulness to yourself and to your body. Where can you take your body to open it the most and provide yourself with the most healing actions possible? That is where you will be strong. To come up, bend the knees, torso parallel to the floor, come all the way up and release the strap, release the arms, hands to hips. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bend the knees, so adjust the feet accordingly. Place the elbows on the thighs and stay there, or take pointer and middle finger under the big toes. Bend the knees, elbows out to the side. Again, stay here. You can put your head on the block, or elbows out, begin to straighten the legs. The elbows bend to help open the upper back. The neck is long. You may even want to try just lightly shaking your head. Use your breathing. Again, the retraction, the bending of the knees, and the straightening of the legs will allow you to go deeper and deeper into those healing positions you need right now. Now bend the knees, take the torso parallel to the floor, either place the hands on the hips to come up or put your palms on your thighs and bring yourself all the way up and step back to the front of the mat into Samasthiti. Keep breathing. Now we move into balance. Place the hands on the hips. The weight goes to the left foot and you lift the right foot off the floor. If you can stay with the toes on the floor. Feel free to use the walls or whatever you need. Smile, it helps, I'm sure of it. Now you can bend forward and hold the back of the thigh. But in your mind, visualize your hips being even. You may begin to straighten the leg, you may drop your gaze to the floor, but you should keep breathing. It's always highly suggested. Breathing in and breathing out. Now bring yourself back up to standing and allow that hip to move into the socket. Try not to lean. The knee goes right. If it's a day for balance that allows you to turn the head the opposite way, turn it to the left. Keep breathing. Use both feet. You can hold the back of the thigh. Some of you will begin to straighten the leg. Just do what's right for you. Now move that hip in the socket as you bring the hip back to the center. Fold forward. It is a forward fold. So be aware of what the asana is trying to teach you. An inhalation brings you back up and you begin to straighten your leg. Now keep in mind, a straight leg with a straight spine might be here. A straight leg in a back bend leaning back might be there. You want the core of the body to be strong. Use your breath. Now flex the foot, take it down into Samastiti and switch sides. Use your breath. Weight to the right, roll to the left. If this is your balance, this is perfect. If you can go a little higher, that is also perfect. But really try to let go of what you think it should be and be content with what is. You know, you might straighten it and bend it again. The action of straightening the leg allows the hip to drop down, or it should anyways. Keep breathing. Bring yourself back up, move the hip in its socket out to the side. Again, if you can look the opposite way, look the opposite way. It is a twist in the neck, so remember the neck is free, not compressed. You might hold the back of the thigh, you might begin to straighten the leg a bit. Do what works for you. Move the hip in the socket as you bring the leg back to the center. Are the hips even? Pause and then fold forward. Bring yourself back up, drop the shoulders down. Hands are on the hips to realize, are my hips straight? And extend that leg, point the toes, breathe. Now your mind might get in the way and say, I just can't do it anymore. You can, I know you can. So retract, bend the knee, move the hip in the socket and straighten the leg again. Keep breathing. Flex the foot, bring the foot down, walk it out. Bring yourself back to the front of the mat where you move through a vinyasa. A vinyasa simply means connecting movement to breath and kind of resetting the body. Inhale, arms and gaze. Exhale, fold the body all the way forward if you can. If you need to adjust your feet, adjust them. Inhale, come partway up. Exhale, hands down, step back through plank. Lower the knees down if you like, but watch those heads dropping. Lower through Chaturanga. Tops of the feet to the floor, either baby cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, bring your feet back between your hands, however you can get them there. Exhale, fully fold. Bend the knees, place the palms on the thigh, coming to Utkatasana or chair pose. If your back or hips or ankles or knees are bothering you, knees and feet are equal distance apart. Your feet can be as close together as you need them, as long as it's not causing you pain. You either keep the palms on the thighs or you send the hips back, bring the arms up. You can bring them all the way up, but shoulders are dropping down. You're trying to build stability through the shoulders. So the pinky fingers may roll slightly towards each other and up. Shoulders down, eyes up. Breathe here. As you exhale, sink the ribs to the thighs and fold forward. Inhale, part way up, open those shoulders. Exhale, step back through plank. Lower the knees, elbows in, snug to the body, lower through Chaturanga. Upward dog, breathing in. Feel the torso move through the arms so you are creating that sense of lengthening your spine. Exhale, downward dog. Virabhadrasana A or Warrior One, your left foot turns slightly left. The entire foot is on the floor. Right foot comes forward between the hands. Set your foundation, your feet. Front hip back, back thigh forward to get the hips even. Reestablish your foundation. And then if it's comfortable to lift the arms, they can be shoulder height. They can be above. Try not to let the rib cage lift your arms, and then you lose your strength and you're hanging out in the back bend. Think, my body is strong. I understand what the posture is teaching me today. My shoulders are lightly drawing down. My drishti is gently rolling up, and I'm breathing. Front hip back, back thigh forward. Get the weight even on both feet, and try not to roll to the big toe side of the back foot. Now straighten the front leg by drawing the hip back. Place your hands on your hips and change your feet. So right comes in, left comes out. Reset your feet until your hips are pointing straight ahead. Then bend the left knee, draw the left hip back, move the right thigh forward. Lift the arms if it's good. If it's not, keep the hands on the hips, and that might be better. Shoulders drop, use the power of the breath, the power of the drishti, the point of gaze, and that is when the magic begins to happen. You really start to feel the healing effects of the practice in both the body and the mind. And we can begin to allow the shifts and changes necessary to find our strength. As you move into B, you reset the feet so the hips are pointing forward between the legs. The arms are either parallel to the floor or the hands are in the hips. What do you need? Now, if that back hip is up and you're lunging forward, reset your posture. Think hips as even as you can get them. Arms parallel to the floor if that works. Gaze over the left hand. It's as though you draw your legs together, rise up your spine. So you take compression and pressure off the body. Now you straighten the left leg, turn the foot to 90 or in slightly, open the right foot and bend the right knee. Again, if you're lunging, perhaps you need to widen your stance. The breath is strong. The eyes are open throughout the practice. Warrior postures are strong. Be the strong warrior you know you are. Now you transition through to the floor by going into Chaturanga. Now you can put the back knee down, step the front foot back, and lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, lifting to upward dog. Tuck the toes, exhale, downward dog. As we move to the seated portion of the practice, come down onto your bottom however it works for you. Now this is where you may need one of these chip blocks or a blanket or a towel rolled up. You sit up on the block, not to perch on the block, but to know that you are lifting the hips, and then when you roll forward, the pelvis tilts forward. The knee is bent if necessary, and the torso begins to move towards the thighs. So you are fully, we're coming to Dandasana first. Look at me, messing up. Your gaze is straight ahead, the shoulders are down, the sternum lifts to the chin, and the chin drops down to the sternum. Spread your toes. So we're no longer standing, so our foundation is no longer our feet, but don't forget to use them. You might have this little micro bend in the knees. Breath is strong. Some people actually do require blocks under the hands. Our arms are all different lengths, so play with where you get the most strength. Now inhale, lift the gaze, lift the chin, and now this is where we move into the forward fold. So again, you may have the blocks. If you don't, just roll the glutes back. Let the knees bend, bring the ribs towards the thighs. Those of you dropping your head, try not to. It's shoulder soft. This is where you may want a strap. You are more than welcome to use those straps or your scarf or your belt. Really thinking about lengthening the entire back side of the body. The shoulders are moving apart, broadening the upper back to build that shoulder stability required for all the things we do in the intermediate class. Shoulder stand, headstand. Good. Inhale, come up, and either repeat the exact same thing or change the grip on the hands, drawing the outside of the foot towards you and pressing the big toe away. The elbows can be out, the breath can be present, the breath should be present, and the neck long. You'll often hear drishti or gaze to the toes. It doesn't mean cranking the neck. It means neck in line with the spine and rolling the eyeballs forward. Now inhale, come up, and this should be as much work as going down. Exhale, release. This is where we spark. So you cross the ankles, place the hands down and lean. Not everyone can get the bottom off the floor. You want to make sure the arms are locked, a little bit of a micro bend. As you lean, it's like a forward fold. You can press down and lift up. And it's almost like you're pulling back with your hands to lift you up. The other option here is a vinyasa. We'll do one. It's up to you from there, here on in, if you do them. You bring yourself to plank. You lower down through chaturanga, lifting to upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, and back to a seated position, however you can get there. Good. Stretch the legs out. Rock it out. Moving to Jana Shishasana A, your left leg is straight, your right knee bends, and the right knee drops out. The foot can press against the inner thigh, or we roll to the top of the foot. Hips point forward, body comes forward. Again, this is where you can use the straps. You can bend the knee. By no means does your knee have to stay bent. You start sending the hip back until you can begin to straighten the leg, and that could be in 100 years. Try not to put goals and expectations on your practice, because just when you get to where you think you have to be, it changes. There is no destination. Use your breathing and enjoy the journey. The weight should be even on both parts of the body, on any part of the body touching the ground. And inhale brings you up. You press the hips back. Exhale, release. The left leg is straight. Cross it in front of the right. Lean and lift. Switch sides. Right leg is straight. Left is in. Reset the foundation. Hips pointing straight ahead. Folding forward. This right hip draws back as the right toe mound draws forward. The weight's even in the glutes, and it's a slight twist in that low back area. Use the straps if you need. Just make sure the leg's not locked. There's a micro bend in the knee. A locked body is not a strong body, so you want a little bit of give in the body. Keep breathing. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release. Spark, so the right leg comes in front, coming down. Now, the left leg is straight. We'll move to Jana Shishasana C for those of you who know it. The action is to pick the right foot up, use the right hand, and draw the right toes, all 5 of them back. You can stay here with the right elbow against the right shin. You can bend the left knee and put the right ankle on the left knee, moving more into this figure 4 type position and a forward fold. Full posture is to have the toes tuck under, the heel into the area just below the navel, and the body to fold forward. Left hip back, left toe mound forward, breathing. But remember your options. If you feel tweaks or twinges in your knees, or anywhere else for that matter, it is your body's way of questioning, why are you doing this? It's really not a benefit. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release, spark, and come down to the other side. So right leg is straight, left knee bends, and it could be resting the foot on the thigh. The action isn't getting those toes to pull back. Work your feet. Gerda always tells us our feet age first. Next option being lean and have the elbow against the shin. Next option being bend that right leg. Where do you get the deepest release in your body? Or you may get those left toes down, heel roll up, body folding. Right hip back, right toe mound forward. Use the power of the Drishti, so really feel the eyeballs rolling in their sockets. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release, spark. Marityasana A, the left leg is straight and the right knee bends. The right shoulder comes to the inside of the right knee, and the hands can meet in prayer. Now, the weight might not be exactly even, but you don't want it all going to the left, so adjust your right foot. You could even turn it out slightly. It's left hip and shoulder back, right shoulder forward, right hip moving downward. Doesn't mean it'll be flat. Next option is to bring the right hand. Now, this is where you might want to strap. Right hand around the back with the strap, left hand grabs the strap. Now, you may also not need the strap, which means the right hand grabs the left shoulder moves forward, right shoulder, right hip move back, hip drops downward. Neck is long, so this is a forward fold, breathing. And it may look more like this with the knee bent. What is going to take your body into a place of opening sooner? And sometimes it's backing off. Now, keeping the bind, you inhale, come up, pause, exhale, release. Spark to release the back and build that upper body strength. And then right leg is straight, left shoulder to the inside of the knee. Keep in mind, the first Marichyasana is not a twist. It's a forward fold. So you want the hips pointing straight ahead and both shoulders pointing straight ahead. Reset your foundation. So you can move that left foot out and turn the toes a bit. You can go into this Anjali Mudra, palm to palm, thumbs resting on the sternum, breathing here, or left arm around left leg, right hand behind the back. My tendency here, especially today, is to lean to the right side. You want to keep neck in line with the spine. Keep the weight even on the right leg and the left foot. Keep breathing. Now, the left glute may not be all the way down, but try to even out any part of the body on the ground to keep your foundation stable and strong. Neck is in line with the rest of the spine, so there's no crank in the neck. Use the power of the Drishti. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Right leg is the straight one now. Cross the opposite, and that helps balance out the hips. Moving into the first twist, Marichyasana C. Left leg, and in the beginner class, we only do one of the twists generally. Left leg is straight, right knee bends. So you want your hips stable and even, pointing straight ahead. You bend the knee, so if you go back, you move that foot perhaps a little farther forward so your spine can be straight. The left hand goes to the outside of the right leg, and the right hand goes behind, not to lean back on it. No time for coffee just yet. Sit up tall. You use the hands not forcefully, but as a bit of traction, just to lengthen the spine and then move the torso around the spine. Some of you may be able to take the right hand off the floor and bring it into the low back. Some of you might reach the hand under the leg. Use your breathing. The head does turn, but the head turns in a way that benefits the spine, which is your neck as well. It's an extension of your spine. Bring yourself back to the center. Cross and spark, just release that uneven twist, and then switch sides. Right leg is straight, left bends. And I'm sure by now you've noticed that both sides of your body don't move the same way. And appreciate that and understand that. Right hand to the outside of the left fingertips to the floor, so establish your straight spine, and then decide where you want that left hand to give your body the most mobility. Keep that left foot straight, don't let it flop out. Hips are even, shoulders are even, chest lifts, neck is long and free, and as always, breath is ever present. Torso rotates around the spine, and notice where you feel the effects of this twist. Breathing in and breathing out. Bring yourself back to the center. And again, spark. And lower yourself down. Now, if you have been sitting on the block, slide the block out. You can use a little blanket or a towel if you have a sore tailbone. Otherwise, slide the prop out, bend the knees, press the foot soles into the floor, take your hands at the back of your thighs, and sit up tall. Then lift your toes up, and if you lift your toes up and you lean way back, readjust your foundation. Elbows are in, shoulders move lightly down the back, and breathe here. This can be your Navasana, or you lift one leg up and then the other. Option being one leg, then down, other leg, and then down. So you know you better than anybody else. I am one person cueing a few of you, I'm imagining. You know, if you have issues in your tissues, the person to check with is your doctor. Good, use your breath. You are your own greatest teacher. Elbows can come out. Sternum lifts, don't let that boat sink. Those of you thrusting your chins, come on, get that neck long. Roll your eyeballs up to the ceiling, breathe. Now cross high up on the shins. It's like a pulling action of pulling the hands back as you lift the bottom up. Don't lock those arms, and bring yourself back down. Reset the foundation, which is whatever's on the ground, and rise up, make that structure strong. You decide what variation is it you want to do, and be grateful because the full practice has 5. We won't do 5. Some of you may begin to straighten the legs and point the toes, perhaps you hold the calves. There's a slight internal rotation of the legs. Shoulders drop down. Breathing, you can extend the arms, lift the sternum, keep your breath. Now cross, alternate how you cross. Draw in, keep the legs in, pull the hands back, lift. Try not to drop those heads. We'll do it one more time just because I know you can. Lift up, shoulders drop. Be strong from the foundation. Don't let the boat sink. This is also called boat pose. Be strong in Navasana. Know what you're doing with your arms. So shoulders are moving lightly down. Arms might go out, but rotate the pinky finger slightly up, shoulders back. Legs together or apart, same distance between knees and feet. Point the toes, feel length and strength in the neck. Breathe. Good. Spark. Bottom comes down. If you'd like to do a vinyasa, do a vinyasa. If you know that a vinyasa would not benefit your body, perhaps you could either go to downward dog or child's pose, just to reset and check in, make sure you're healing yourself. And keep breathing. Now from this position, bring yourself forward, bend the knees, and rest the elbows on the thighs. The feet are at least hip width apart. And if this is enough, don't go any farther than this. If it's possible to bring the hands to the insides of the feet and move the feet a little farther apart, do that. Palms are flat, elbows bend, and you rest almost on the backs of the thighs. Just don't put any weight there. The elbows are bent to right angles, and the head's not hanging. Any of you who are familiar to Bhujagadasana, you are more than welcome to go into the full pose. Keep breathing here. Good, then lift the hands. See if you could lower through a squat, bottom to the floor. Good, moving into Kurmasana, we'll go right into Baddha Konasana. So again, if you need to sit up on the blocks or the blankets to lift the hips and tilt the pelvis, do that. Bring your foot soles together, lean forward, the thumbs go across the balls of the feet, and you roll the foot soles open. Breathing here. So there are 2 variations. This is the flat back. Now my heels are a little out from my body. I can always explore bringing the heels closer. You may find that you need props under the knees to support the knees. So a light blanket, keep your breath. Rolling the feet open works the feet, the ankles, and transitions the hips a bit more. Some of you may move the elbows out along the thighs. Now the next variation is to squeeze the air out of the lower abdominals and start to round. So the belly's drawing into the spine. You're bending from the bottom of the rib cage, drawing your chin to your chest. You can be here. If you do have a block or a book or something, you can always rest your head there. But make sure your connection to the ground, so your bottom is on the ground. It's not up in the air. Good, then bring yourself up and extend the legs out in that V-like position. So Upavishta Konasana, if you're rounding back, it's a sure sign that you should sit up on the block, lift the hips, and then let the pelvis tilt forward like you're pouring out a bowl of water. The knees might be bent and you might need to be here. Breath is strong. Some of you will be able to begin to straighten the legs, but remember, if you're rounding like this, you will find much deeper change in the body by lifting the hips, tilting the pelvis, and bending the knees. In time, the body may come all the way forward. But truthfully, work with where you are at any given day. It's not about flexibility, it is about the balance of flexibility and strength. And that will sustain us to be doing this when we're 190. Now, bring yourself back to a straight spine, breathing in, breathing out relief. If you are sitting on the block, now slide it out. Again, you can sit on the blanket if you like. Next variation, you can be here with your hands at the backs of the thighs, or you may find you hook your arms at the backs of the thighs and lift your feet off the floor. It's not about leaning back. You want to get it out of the back. Some of you may be able to begin to straighten the legs, holding the calves or the ankles. Some of you may hold the feet. Some of you may bend the elbows. Use the feet. Gaze, your drishti rolls up, and the breath is present. Now you release, cross. If you would like to do a vinyasa, do a vinyasa. Otherwise, lie yourself down on the back. Readjust your neck, so the natural curve of the neck, and you start with the legs straight, the knees bent. Then you lift your right foot off the floor and extend your right leg in the air. You reach up with the right hand and grab the right big toe. If you are not able to do that without looking like this, then use the strap. You want this hip drawing down. If there's not a back problem, you can straighten the left leg. Right hip drops, back of thigh presses away, so you are working towards lengthening the hamstring. Remember, if you've got the toe and the knee is always bent, sometimes mentally we need to let go, get out of our ego, and use the strap to actually start creating some change in the hamstring. If you are able to bring the torso up off the floor, you drop the hip and slide the torso off the floor. The left palm slides down the left thigh and the right hip drops down. Now the head comes down, you bend the right knee, slide the thigh across the chest and move the leg out to the right. The left glute stays on the ground. Both shoulders are even. Use your breathing. The head can turn to the left if it's comfortable. You bring the leg back to the center, drop the hip, peel the torso off the floor. Torso comes down, you hold the strap, and you let the leg lower down, so you're giving yourself some traction. Now bend the knees and switch sides. If you're using the strap, put it around the left foot extended in the air. Straighten the right leg, right palm on right thigh or on the ground. Where do you need it for strength in your foundation? That left hip drops, shin tips in, torso comes up, breathing. Torso comes down, knee bends, leg out to the side, gaze the opposite direction. Everything's even. This right hip's not hiking up. Bring it back to the center. Hip drops down. Torso peels up. Breathing. Torso comes down. Leg lowers down. Bend both knees. Let the knees rock. Bring the knees up into the chest. Check in with the back. If you have anything under your head, slide it out. Place the feet on the floor so the heels are below the knees. Place the palms on the floor out from the hips. Draw the belly to the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the bottom up off the floor. Readjust your feet if you're feeling it in your back at all. Try to keep the heels below the knees, but you may need the feet a little farther apart. Shoulder blades roll under. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Keep the natural curve of the neck. So space for one or two fingers. The sternum moves to the chin moves to the sternum. If they touch, chin moves away and hips lift higher, breathing. Make sure you have nothing under your head here. You lower down upper back, mid back, low back, bottom, and you pause. Rock the knees or bring the thighs to the chest and see if you can repeat that one more time.
If the full wheel, and you know what that is in your practice, by all means, go ahead. As I said before, you are your own greatest teacher, and we know what we can do, or hopefully we know what we can do. This is what a yoga practice is all about. It's called a practice because each time we come to our mat, it's a new discovery. Keep breathing. Try not to turn your head from side to side. One more breath in. Don't let those knees flare out. Use your glutes. Just don't overuse them. One more breath out. Lowering down. Upper back, mid back, low back, bottom. Pause. Bring your thighs into your chest. Rock that out. Now you may want to roll up and move through a vinyasa or roll to the side. Bring yourself up to a seated position. Draw the glutes back and bring yourself into Paschimottanasana. Remember, you can start knees bent and stay there, or heels forward, bottom back. Neck in line with the spine, breathing. Bring yourself back up to a seated position. Release. You can move through a vinyasa, or you come to the last three closing postures where you can sit cross-legged, half lotus, full lotus, whatever works best for you. The hands, they come behind the back, and you squeeze the air out of the lower abdominals. You do bend from the bottom of the rib cage. You draw your chin to your chest. Your arms slide down the back to give your shoulders a bit of traction, and you breathe. The eyes, they're open. You're rooted to your foundation, and the breath is present. Ujjayi breath, breathing in and out lightly through the nose. Bringing yourself back up to a nice straight spine. Release the arms to the legs, turn the palms up, thumb and index finger touch. Other 6 fingers are extended, spine long. Sternum lifts, chin drops, eyes open. Natural curve of the spine, not sticking the bottom over out. Not over tucking the belly. Positive energy through thumb and index finger. Everything else released through the other 6 fingers. The gaze lifts. The hands come down again. It's that light pulling back motion. Bottom lifts off the floor, Utplutihi. If you happen to be in lotus, that full lift up, it seems to be a little bit easier when the legs are contained. You breathe. You lower down, perhaps you lift up. Remember, it's that pulling motion. And you release. You either do a vinyasa or you lie right down on your back. Once you're all the way down, take a really big deep breath in. Tighten everything simply as tight as you can. And a big, long, loud letting go exhalation. Just let go. Let the body absorb the practice. All that pranayama, all that breath work, feel the healing effects. Lie in gratitude to yourself for taking this time just for you. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I encourage you to stay in Shavasana for a bit longer. Remind yourself to replenish and nurture yourself. Drink lots of water. Namaste. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'll see you next time.